What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 9 of the Miami Marlins Out of the Park Baseball 25 series. We're here in June, a little bit later than I kind of anticipated us being, but we are 35 and 29. Really, really good start to the season. As you'll see, the wheels have kind of come off recently, but crazy thing is that first month went 17 and 5. Remember, we got swept by the Dodgers in 3 games. So after that point, the rest of April, we were 17 and 2. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. May, we kind of came back down to earth, 16 and 13. Still a good month. A 550 win percentage. Then so far in June, we're 2 and 5. But we had this just brutal 22-1 loss. I think probably my biggest differential ever. As you can see, Eric Fetty, he's on the team right now. We'll get to that. But Hayden Birdsong gave up 5 runs. Colton Gordon gave up 6 unearned. Julian Merriweather gave up 4 runs. Then Anthony Bender gave another one. So, yeah, 11 runs in the 6th inning. Just a brutal game. But besides that, it's been a really, really good start to the season. I can't complain too much. We have had our fair share of injuries. So, I guess the biggest one has been Braxton Garrett. He got off to an awesome start, but did go down 4 to 5 weeks with an oblique strain. So he has one more week until he's back. So in his place, we called up Eric Fetty. He was a guy who I signed to a minor league deal, was pitching well in AAA, called him up. And he had a really good start to begin. It was this one, 6 1/3 1-run, had a couple of good back-to-back ones, and then started that game where we lost 22-1. Not necessarily it's a bad, really, really bad start, but he wasn't the reason that we lost 22-1. So I think Dylan Cease missed. No, he didn't miss any time. I think besides that, our rotation's been healthy. Yuri missed obviously a couple starts to begin the year. He's come back and looked awesome. Luzardo's been good. Cease has been really good. Trevor Rogers has been once again really good. He's a free agent after the season. I had the opportunity to lock him up to a pretty affordable deal. This is not it. This is like 2-starter money in my mind. I think he's kind of replaceable. Really good pitcher, and I'd love to keep him, but we'll probably qualify and offer him. If he accepts a 1-year, $20 million deal, I would keep him for that. Then the lineup. We do have one piece of news, and you're probably going to laugh at me looking at his stats here, but we did sign Jazz to an extension. It's a 3-year, 17 per through his age 31 season. So when I gave him this deal, this is why you don't give people contracts when they're at their hottest. He was off to an insane start to the year. 139 WRC plus in April. At some point in April, I gave him the extension. So far in May, I guess in May, he crashed and burned. Became a horrible hitter. So far in June, hasn't been much better, striking out 44% of the time. Small sample size, I think he'll turn it around. He's been, a really good hitter, or at least a really good player the last 2 seasons. And he still steals bases when he's on. So I think he's still valuable, but so far the contract, kind of some already buyer's remorse, even when it hasn't kicked in, but his power has ticked up to a 60 here. His Ks are an issue and have been an issue, but I think Jazz will turn it around. There's no reason to think he won't. Look at the rest of the team. Rafaela, we missed him for a few weeks. I forgot what the injury was. Fractured shoulder blade, 3 to 4 weeks. So that was kind of a big loss because we wound up called up Jahmai Jones. He was playing a bit. Excuse me. Ugh. Still getting over a cold. It's been like a week. Who else did we have up? We had Wes Clark up for a cup of coffee. I don't know. I don't even remember what we did to fill his spot. But yeah, he's been our best hitter this season when he's out there. So he was a big piece to lose. Jacob Berry, unbelievable start to the season. His April was ridiculous. 163 WRC plus. 6 bombs. May was really good too, and so far in June, Hasn't been bad. So, love what we're getting out of Jacob Berry. I'm fully in on him. Let's go. He's our first baseman moving forward. Jahmai Jones has come up, had to play, walking a ton. But, yeah, he's just a backup. Trey Sweeney, really pleasant surprise here. Remember we picked him up in a trade with Arizona for Jacob Amaya. Check out his stats here. Looks like he's starting for them. So it was Jacob Amaya and Henry Allen. Who still has some upside, of course, but we were willing to give him up, and he's paid dividends. He's been really good, steady bat at third base. As you can see here, Casey Schmidt did go down with an injury. Pretty significant, broken hand. 3 to 4 months he's going to miss, so he got off to a good start, too. Disappointed to see that his season's going to be cut pretty short. He'll be back at some point, but it'll be August at that point, so we'll see. Robert, I feel like he got off to a good start. He's just not hitting for a ton of power, not walking at all. Wow. Okay, that'll tick up. But everything else looks good. Like, this ticks up to whatever his career average of 6%. This WRC Plus ticks way up too. Yeah, he did get off to a really good start in April. 130, and then just a brutal June so far. He's dragged all his numbers down. Hopefully he gets on base a little bit more, because that's kind of concerning. But overall, been a good piece. Everson Arteaga, excellent start to the jared Battle League average hitter, still playing his excellent defense. This is kind of the player that I expected him to be, and he's turning into that. So, love what we're getting out of him. Jared Duran was off to a brutal start. Well, I guess it wasn't that brutal. Okay, I exaggerated that a little bit. It felt like it was really bad. But yeah, he's been solid out and left. Nothing special, but a good defender, and versatile enough where we could play him, at first base, all the outfield positions and stuff. We talked about Jazz. Jesus Sanchez, bit of a disappointing start. I feel like he had a couple good games at the beginning. Yeah, he got off to a good start to the season, striking out way too much, but yeah, it's fallen off a little bit, as the rest of our team has as well. But yeah, I like Jesus. He's been a good player. Patrick Bailey, really good defender, good bat, basically the same season he did last year. Jeremy Payne has been disappointing. He's had to start a little bit more than I wanted him to. He was playing some third base for a little bit. Has been bad defensively at second, which is surprising. Hopefully he can, get some legs here as we move deeper into the season. Brenton Doyle, really good defender, but just brutal with the bat so far to start the year. It wasn't that bad last year, but not a good start. And then Alfonso, after a kind of, breakout rookie season last year where he was a league average hitter and was overall just one of the best backup catchers in baseball, I assume. He's been bad in 55 at-bats, small sample size, backup catcher, not that significant. And then purposely I left the bullpen for last because this has been a really rough piece of the team. I'm not really sure what's going on. There's just a lot of real bad blow-up games from these guys. So Max Mayer, the strikeout to walk stuff, not pretty. He had a good season in that regard. If he strikes out a few more guys, he'll be fine. But yeah, not a good start from him, but he's honestly been one of our better pitchers. Andrew Nardi hasn't been an issue. He's just been really consistent over the years. Steven Cruz has been fine, all things considered, when he's out there. He's been up and down between the majors and minors. Anthony Bender, one of these guys, just had some blow-up games. Walking way more guys than he usually does. I'm not sure what that's about. A few too many home runs. Hopefully this stuff corrects. Anthony Maldonado has been good, not striking anyone out. And this doesn't look that bad right here, but we'll get to some of the guys that really sucked. Pearson Ole, a guy we got off waivers in the offseason, he's had to pitch a little bit. Only one game, so can't draw any judgments from that. And Jesus Sanchez just came back today. So yeah, Hayden Birdsong came up for the 1 game, or 2 games, 45 ERA. Small sample size, of course. Joe Boyle, for some reason it was only striking out 7.3 guys per 9. I know it's only 16 innings, but we wound up demoting him. Not a good start to his season. He was bad. Dax Fulton got some run-up in the majors. Didn't pitch well. Colton Gordon, we talked about kind of his 6 unearned runs in that game. It's not a good game even if it doesn't count. And then Jorge Mercedes, striking out a ton of guys, but the results were not there. We sent them down just to get a fresh arm up. And then Josh Simpson, miserable at 2 2/3. So, I guess, I don't know. It's like a lot of guys are doing like pretty bad, and that's what's kind of driven our bullpen ERA way up. I think we were probably first or second last year. But we've been able to weather the storm with good starting pitching and much better offense than we have in the past. And I think there's still room for improvement. Jazz turns it on a little bit. Robert starts getting on base a little bit more. We have Rafaela back. Maybe Patrick Bailey's got a little bit more juice. We'll see. Overall, things have been good. Bradley Blaylock, unfortunately, one of the pitching arms I really liked, and I kind of saw him being a starter moving forward for us. He went down with a torn, Tommy John surgery, partially torn UCL. I don't know if that's Tommy John necessarily with the partially torn, but I was looking forward to getting him up in the majors, but he'll miss the rest of the season, unfortunately. Him and Tobias Myers, a couple of our younger arms. He's 26. They'll miss the season. And then Casey Schmidt, we talked about him, and Sixto just coming back from an injury he had earlier in the year. So that's the check-in here in June. We'll come back when something happens, and we'll update. Okay, so we are back. It is July 11th, time for the first-year player draft. The Miami Marlins are 51-37. We've kept our heads above water. We've had a bunch of injuries. Robert, he's been out for he was out for 4 to 5 weeks. He has 1 to 2 weeks left to return. So it's been a struggle to stay, keep a good offense without him. You can see our offensive ratings have kind of fallen back to the bottom third of the league, at least of the National League. Pitching's still really good. Bullpen ERA's ticked up to 6th. We've gotten a lot of help from, some guys just generally improving back to where they should be. Anthony Maldonado has still been awesome. Max Mayer's definitely been solid enough. Andrew Nardi's been good as he's been this whole series. Eric Fetty, as our long man, has done a really nice job. Made a few starts, has come out of the bullpen. Just a nice piece to have. Middle relief is still pretty much a mess. We got Sixto Sanchez back. He's, had mixed results in coming back. Mostly bad, but he's also hurt again, I just realized. To throw him back on the IL, it's enough that I don't want to get him hurt even more. Josh Simpson's back with the team. Kind of a guy who's been on the bus from, where's our minor league team? It is Jacksonville. So, little ride up 95, or maybe there's another highway that goes to Jacksonville more direct, but I would think 95 off the top of my head. Anthony Bender has been bad. The FIP's not good. The ERA is certainly not good. We're hoping he can turn it around. He's been a pretty good arm for us the last few years. We'll see if he can, fix things. And Jorge Mercedes, pretty disappointing. 20 innings, been really bad. The FIP definitely shows he can improve. Just too many home runs, probably too many walks. He is striking out a ton of guys, but, that doesn't matter too much. I also have a timer for 8 minutes, so when that goes off, I have to go grab my pizza out of the oven. So, there's the bullpen. Starting pitching staff's been good. Jesus Luzardo still leading the way. He's been great. Definitely worth the extension that we gave him. You can see pretty reasonable, absolutely, for that kind of pitcher. Dylan Cease has been good mostly. He had a couple of really bad starts here to balloon his ERA. Besides that, I think he's been just fine for the $16 million we got him for 1 year. Kind of looking like a steal, especially if he can, get rid of those really bad outings and just turn in some solid ones instead. Braxton Garrett, what a star! He's really emerged the last 2 seasons really into a real keeper. He's got a couple years of control left still. But, a guy with awesome control, average to above average and everything else. Really good guy to have around. I don't know if I'd extend him necessarily, but it's a bit rich for like a 3-starter or maybe a 4-starter. But Yuri Perez has been terrific. He was hurt to start the year a little bit, but since he's come back, he's been excellent. Just doing what he does pretty much. So and then Colton Gordon's up with the team. He won minor league pitcher of the year last year, and is pitching decently well this season to start. So called him up. He made a really good start. He's pitched out of the bullpen a little bit. He only pitched 4 2/3 in the start, but he was good. And he's up with the team right now with Trevor Rogers currently out. He had a sore shoulder, out for 3 weeks. That was about a week ago. And he was excellent when he was out there. So, the rotation's not a concern. The pitching staff in general, not really a concern. I would love some more, maybe one more back-end guy, because I don't love Maldonado closing out a playoff game, or, maybe Andrew Nardi is the most trusted guy here. But even Max Meyer, the peripherals don't necessarily look great for him. So the bullpen's going to need some work. We should call someone up. Yeah, Joe Boyle was really pretty bad when he was up in the majors, although I'll probably give him the call here. Pearson Ole was good when he was up. Could give Dax Fulton a couple innings, but he's pretty exhausted. Kent Emanuel's pitched really well. We have a spot on our 40? We do. Yeah, you know what? Let's go give Ken Emanuel the call. Why not? We could try something different here. He's also a lefty, which I like. Not going to wow anyone with his stuff, but he's been good in AAA, so worth giving a run. And then the lineup, without Robert, it's not really pretty. Rafael is back. Really, really missed him. He's been excellent when he's out there, but has dealt with a ton of injuries this season. Jacob Berry's been our only other real, good hitter, like solidly above average hitter. Even he's not been like impressive for a first baseman necessarily, but he's been just fine. Trey Sweeney got off to a really hot start, has since fallen back to earth, but still an overall solid season. We didn't give up a ton to get him. There's Jacob Amaya, who is actually a league average hitter. Good for him. And then also gave up Henry Allen, who looks like he's kind of fallen off since we traded him. Still like Henry, but yeah, Trey Sweeney, we're definitely happy about that trade. He's got a bunch of years of control left. Arteaga, really, really good start to the season, and he's continued it. He's above league average with the bat. Excellent with the glove, of course. 10.9 zone rating in 78 games. It's over 20 in 162 games, so love that from Arteaga. Jesus Sanchez, not really a great season so far. He's been just fine. Hasn't played the field at all, so his bat has to carry him, and he hasn't necessarily done that so far. He's definitely not our weakest link in the lineup. Jahmai Jones has had to get a bunch of at-bats here. He's actually been okay. He's played all over the field for us. Let's go to Major League. Yeah, he's played all over. A lot of second, a lot of third. Has been really bad at third, but I don't think he had any experience there at the beginning of the year. I think we did that in spring. I kind of forget. And then Jarren Durant, also been disappointing, but he's got some wheels, plays a good left field, has played a bunch of center field as well. Or I guess enough center field as well. So, he hasn't been great, but he's fine. Patrick Bailey, he's all glove. If we get 86 WRC+, I'm totally fine with that. That's about what we got last year, and he was a very valuable player. Yeah, 7.6 framing runs through 66 games. Jeremy Pena, he's definitely been better since he started, I'll tell you that, but overall the numbers don't look too impressive, but he's a backup infielder when we're fully healthy. Bretton Doyle has had to fill in center field for Robert, or Robert. I guess it's Robert. Strikes out a ton, but plays an excellent center field. He's in there against lefties at the moment, I think. He's actually in there against righties. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Jazz is still not really turned it on after a really hot start. He's still on pace to hit 31 home runs, but maybe that contract is a bit premature. It's not untradeable or anything if we need to, and I think he'll turn it around for sure. But he's kind of fueled by bad BABIP here, I'd say. I still like Jazz. He's a leader on this team. He's kind of the heart and soul of this Miami squad, so I wanted to keep him around regardless. And then Wes Clark. He's once again up with the team and once again not really hitting. I'm not really sure what it is. He absolutely annihilated AAA pitching this season. Comes up and just can't really get anything going. Maybe he's just a quad A guy. He's certainly better against lefties than righties, and he's only playing against lefties. So I hope he turns things around. But he's not a guy he's not a guy locked into this team. Let's put it that way. And then Alfonso's got off to a bad start. He's just a backup catcher, so it's not a big deal. But, yeah, there's the offense. See, update on the prospects. Luis Herrera's hitting in rookie ball. That's good. After really struggling in A-ball to start the season. Sent him down to rookie ball just to get his confidence back. We'll see if that works out. And Rosado, also holding his own as a 17-year-old in rookie ball. Hayden Birdsong has been up with the team for a little bit. He got a couple innings. Nothing crazy. Luis Cova is in A-ball, not really hitting at all. I don't want to send him down to rookie ball again, but might have to. We'll see. Luke Adams called him up to AAA, was kind of aggressive with him after a good spring. Has not really turned out anything spectacular, but he's still got time. He's only 22. And Devin Taylor, a first-round pick last year, hitting well in high A, so maybe he gets a call up to Double A soon. And that's our top 200 guys. Still excited for a few guys down here, like Matt Ager, a guy who struck out a bunch of guys in high A. Could probably deserve a call up to Double A soon. We'll see. Bradley Blaylock out for the season. That's probably really loud. I'll edit that out. I will be right back, and we'll pick up with prospects in a little bit. Okay, we're back. So we're going through the prospects. I don't know actually though if there was a ton else to go through. Fabian Lopez not hitting much after his promotion to high A after last season, playing well in A-ball. So it was a limited sample. I forgot what happened last year with him, but anyway. Anything else here probably to report? I don't think so. Dominic Fritton, who's a 7th round pick in our first year. He's pitched well so far in high A. We can give him a call up to Double A. Let's do that now. I think probably Devin Taylor can get a call up to Double A. See how he fares up there, and then we'll figure out the rest later. But let's go to the first year player draft, where we have the 28th pick after a good season last year. And let's hop into it. So, always like to see a good college player there. I think I did look through this. It's been about 10 days since I recorded the last episode. Apparently this guy is 016B Christ. Interesting name. Okay, we'll actually roll with that. That's kind of cool. And he goes first. 016B Dragnet. Dragnet's sick. That's a sick name. Okay, he goes first. Brady Harris, pretty decent. He goes second. Grady Emerson, love that player. He was, what was he? Was he on the Twins? I think he was on the Twins team last year. Andy Adams, a really good player. Man, I wish we had a top pick in this draft. Yeah, I would have taken any of these guys over whatever the guy we got is. Devin something. What the hell's his name? Devin Taylor. There you go. Let's go to our pick, 28. Man, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for a good high school pitcher. I mean, he's excellent, far along development wise. Miles Young, a really good player. High schooler, always a risk. Jason DeCaro. Love this guy. Wow. 20 years old, really far along. High work ethic, good leader. Pretty well above average in every facet of the game. Love that guy. Might come back to him. There's a good chance we do, actually. Ben O'Neill, a high school bat. Really like him. Liam Peterson, a good arm, but the control is a little bit worse than the other guy. Well, significantly worse. Everything else is kind of pushing. But honestly, a really good pitcher. Thomas Pettit. Kyle Johnson, like a 3-pitch guy. Let's see some hitters here. Brad Sonneborn. Good infielder. They always say thinks he has monster potential, power-wise. Okay, someone to consider. Do we have any comp picks? I don't think we do, right? Oh, we do. Okay. Who's that for? Luis Arise. There you go. So we actually have a pick coming up too. So that's honestly great because I like a lot of these guys in this draft, and maybe some of them will fall. Just go to hitters really quick. Sift through this way a little bit quicker. Yeah, I mean, all really, really good players here. Unfortunately, all high schoolers. Here's a college guy, not too far along, though. Okay, I think we have a good grasp on what we have in this draft here. Definitely a ton of pitchers to grab. Jason DeCaro being, I think, at the top of my list. With the good work ethic, so well developed already. He could just be a rock as a number 2 starter. They think he could be an ace. I kind of agree, actually. Yeah, I think that's the pick here. Liam Peterson, if he falls to our next pick, I mean, high work ethic, high intelligence. My only concern is the control. And it being so low for a 21-year-old. I mean, DeCaro, on the other hand, is pretty newly 20 and can probably already pitch in high A, double A. Does have a decent demand. And apparently we have $0 available budget. Okay, that's definitely not correct, but all right. Well, that's weird. Okay, I hope that's not going to be a bug, because I can't even meet his demand at the moment, but we'll draft him and see how it goes. Second pick, so the guy we wanted, that other pitcher, is off the board. Kyle Johnson and Luke Pettit, not exactly too inspiring. Bob Starplier, Starliper. Starplier would have been a sicker name, but Starliper. I feel like he should have a nickname. I might nickname him after. Just massive upside, but didn't we take one of these guys in the past? And he's not even our top 200, I don't think, or our top 20 prospects. Let me give this a look. So, who did we take in that first draft? Yeah, Duncan Marston. Okay. Yeah, he was kind of a similar pitcher. I mean, he was pitching well, but he had a bone stir in his elbow. Has really fallen off scouting-wise since we first drafted him. All the way down to a 40 potential, which is kind of heartbreaking, but also kind of to be expected. I think he could still be a decent arm. Maybe not a starter, but I think he could still be okay. We had Jason Flores, another similar guy, but he had huge potential as well. I think he had like a couple, 80-plus pitches. But his stuff has fallen from a 95 to a 55. I mean, that's just brutal. So that's the thing with these high school guys. They can kind of turn on a dime. Matt Ager was a high floor guy, and he's still got the high floor. And, it's honestly worked out better than those first two guys. Alton Davis got hurt. That sucks. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm probably out on another high school pitcher, although it's so intriguing. I mean, it's sitting right there. He's a slot guy, so I could just offer him the slot. But it's so risky. This is a high pick, and we do need offensive players. I'd rather take a high school bat. So which one of these guys do I want? That's the question. Ben O'Neill. He's a guy, could be a really good glove. Maybe only a second baseman though with that arm. Probably fake him at short. Brad Soderbaum. This is the guy with the big power according to the OSA. You know, comparable defensively. We could probably boost that up with a little development. It's just, what build do I like better? I think Sonneborn, better all-around hitter. Although, it's actually pretty close. Let me compare these guys. Alright, so contact, even, gap power, definitely goes to Ben O'Neill. Home run, about the same according to our scout. Eye potential, better for Sonneborn. Then avoid K is pretty close, but a slight edge to O'Neill. So hitting-wise, I think it's O'Neill, according to our scout. Defensively, O'Neill has the range, but everything else goes to Sonneborn. Both pretty decent outfielders. Both play a corner. It's about as close as it gets. Man, it's about as close as it gets. Maybe Sonneborn's the pick just because of this power with the OSA. They obviously see something. His power has dipped since our scout started looking at him. Ben O'Neill, the eye has dropped a bit. Nothing else. I think Sonneborn has a better floor. They're both pretty similar, though. Man, this is tough. Ah, this is so tough. Neither have great speed. Ben O'Neill does have the 70 range. I'm not even really considering Miles Young here, for some reason. Although he could definitely play a fine third base. God, I gotta go off camera for this and look around. This is taking too long. I'll be back. Okay, so I don't know what it is. I'm gonna take Brad Sonneborn. There's really no rhyme or reason. They're kind of identical players. My scout thinks he can be a star caliber shortstop, and Ben O'Neill can be a key contributor to a contending team, or fill a key role. So maybe Ben O'Neill's there next round, and we can double dip, but for now, I'm going to go with Brad Sonneborn. And he's not... Miles Young is there, though. I mean, that's very intriguing. Let's see what's there for all players. Still a couple of college or high school arms out here. Not totally opposed to dipping in those waters, but not my first choice. Looks like we might have to, though. So there is not really a ton crazy left. This guy's a corner outfielder, kind of interesting. Cal Fisher, not really the defense I'm looking for. mean, Christian Lim, high floor, not going to kill anyone, but also a good leader, high intelligence. Stamina is not great. Fastball, slider, changeup, not the best repertoire in the world. But it could be like a long-term, like, Trevor Rogers replacement. He's only 5'10". So is he a starter long-term? I'm not sure. What else is there for college arms? It's interesting. Andrew Wiggins, not the basketball player. Pretty well developed. Honestly, very similar player to that guy we took last year, Devin. He's so forgettable because it was like the worst pick ever. The worst first overall pick ever. Eric Becker, decent floor. Probably like a utility guy in the majors long term. Bristol Carter, excellent defense. Doesn't bring a ton at the bat. Do like the defense, though. Another guy with good infield defense here. But another guy who lacks power. Trying to find some diamonds in the rough down here. Some college guys. Gavin Gallagher. I like him quite a bit. Good work ethic. Good leader. Decent upside at the bat. Not the worst defender in the world. But also like Miles Young sitting here. I think we go with Miles Young. Ethan Wheeler, also intriguing. 6'7", 205. You know what? Let's take the college arm. Miles Young is really good, though. I like the two elite pitches. Pretty decently developed for an 18-year-old. I want to take Ethan Wheeler. I don't know why. Let's do it. Miles Young goes. I mean, Tommy Thompson, decent defense. We could probably improve that in the lab. 6'6". How many catchers do you see that tall? I know, like, Matt Wieters might have been, like, 6... How tall was Matt Wieters? He was tall. I'll look that up really quick. But yeah, you don't see a ton of tall catchers. While I do this, click around a little bit. Cope, not amazing. Matt Wieters, height. He was 6'5". Okay. I knew he was tall. So yeah, he's like the closest comparison of a really tall catcher. Tommy Thompson. You know, I kind of like him. We kind of already poked around the waters. Oh, Christian Lim's still here. I like him. I like him a lot. We took a couple catchers last year. I'm going to go with Christian Lim. Joe Harder. I mean, his jersey swap could be pretty elite with certain guys, I'm sure. But yeah, what round are we at? We're at 4, so I'll do a couple more on camera. This Connor Langdon guy. Good enough upside. He's not a hard thrower, but has some good stuff. Sure, we'll throw a dart at Connor Langdon. Anthony Murphy's not bad either. Good leader, intelligence. Feels like a guy who, if he makes his way through the system and hits some home runs, could make an impact in the majors. Bristol Carter was a guy with a good defense. But is his bat really going to develop into anything, or is he going to be like a fifth outfielder? I don't know. Jackson Flores seems like he could be a good reliever. Not the best control. Drew Lafferty, I kind of like him. Yeah, I like Drew Lafferty. High floor pitcher. Like to have a bunch of those guys in my system we can call on. All right, I mean, if Anthony Murphy's going to be sitting here too, I'll take him here. All right, so there's the first 5 rounds. We'll be back with the rest of the results. All right, so we'll run through the rest of the draft we went through. So, went through the first 5 rounds, first 6 picks. We took Colton Hardman, college arm. The control is an issue, but I think if, we can take that control up to a 40, this stuff will definitely play up in the bullpen. Also has some hitting ratings, not horrible. But that's our 6th round pick. 7th round, we took Jaden Cullenburn. Good defensive catcher. Could even get better if we throw him in the lab. And overall, decent prospect there in the 7th. Rodolfo Santoyo. For some reason, I fell in love with this infield arm. If this range could take up to a 50, he could be an incredible third baseman. Or maybe even a shortstop. Who knows? The bat's not horrible either. And then we took Josh Earhart. Now this is where the draft started to kind of fall off. Good work ethic, good intelligence, 17 years old, got some good tools. We'll see if he turns into anything. And then Dave Durden, who is a reliever I took. I like the stuff and the really good pitch. The control is a huge issue. Honestly, the movement's bad too. So that's pretty much the last pick worth talking about. Everything else is kind of garbage. I guess this guy was interesting enough, but last 6 rounds I just took guys with good work ethic, good leadership, and good intelligence. So yeah, we'll throw some darts on those. But yeah, we will continue moving ahead toward the deadline, and we'll come back with any updates that come before that. Okay, so I'm running into some issues offering contracts to these guys. So we have $20 million available, and I go to offer. Set the demand $6 million. We have 20 to spend, and my owner is not allowing me to. I've never had an issue with this in the past. Let's see. Yeah, these guys are fine because they're slots. See, our owner doesn't approve of this $650,000. It's, I don't know, very weird. I've never had this issue pop up before. So I'm going to go into commissioner mode, full disclosure. And he still won't let me do it. Oh my god. That's bizarre. Okay, well, I got to figure out a solution to this because this is, I mean, you saw it kind of bugging out when we were doing the draft. I kind of pointed that out when we first started, that we had no money apparently, but we do. That's not really an issue. I mean, now we're down to 16, but still, that shouldn't be a problem. Is that like my... Is that because I don't have any draft budget put here? Oops. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I just had to put some money in the draft budget, I guess. And honestly, I didn't even have to go into commissioner mode, so... Alright, so that worked out just fine. And, I mean, we didn't go over $13 million, so... Beautiful. Okay, that was resolved. Wasn't as big of a deal as I thought. So, we're going to keep moving forward. We'll come back. Okay, so it's pretty obvious we need some bullpen help. and there wasn't a ton out in the trade market. But Alex Lang was a guy that I was targeting who was on the trade block. Has 1 year left to control after this one. He's with the Phillies now and having a really good season after a bunch of really good years in a row. You kind of know what you're getting with Alex Lang. He's going to walk a few guys, but also going to, induce a lot of ground balls, strike out a good amount of players. And, yeah, he was kind of the centerpiece of this deal. So it was kind of him for Brock Vradenberg, who's a guy I like, but I'm not in love with. The power from first baseman. Everything else looks pretty good, but is he ever going to crack my lineup? I'm not so sure. He's crushed AAA, though, so there's a reason the Phillies want him, and I totally get it. So I was looking in their minor leagues, and they have Mick Abel, former top prospect, just kind of wasting away in AAA. He's, made 19 starts down there, hasn't appeared in the majors, and he's pretty good. Throws hard, got 4 really good pitches. The control is an issue. But as a reliever, I think he ticks up a ton, and I think he has long-term starter upside too. So I went and added him in, and they really like Joe Boyle. I like Joe Boyle too, but I just haven't been able to really make it come together this season with him. He's only struck out 8.2 guys per nine. I know it's a small sample size, but it's 26 innings, and he's still been good. But I think I'd rather have Mick Abel and the upside he brings. It has a bunch of years of control, too. So does Boyle, but, Abel could potentially be a starter. And then they're also throwing a Luis Amaya for us, who is an arm that I like, and I think he could be a good depth piece. They're also kicking in $3 million cash to cover some of the salary from Lang. That's kind of the deal. Our assistant GM doesn't really go either way on it, but Sam Fold for the Phillies does like it, so this is our move to kind of bolster our bullpen. We have a couple weak links, and I hope this can kind of sure things up for us. So, Colton Gordon's made 3 starts in the majors. 2 really good ones, 1 not so good one, but overall it wasn't horrible. But I think he's going to get the boot from the rotation for now. I'm going to put Hayden Birdsong in. I want to see what he can offer. So there's one spot. Jorge Mercedes has pitched much better recently, I will say, but I think he's still probably the other odd man out. Anthony Bender, I don't think he has options. He does, but he might be able to refuse them. I'm not sure. I think he probably can. And I also just don't want to send Anthony Bender down. He's been a good reliever for us, so we're going to send down Mercedes. And we have Lang and Abel to add. So, honestly, I think Abel goes right to our 7th inning. Max Mayer is going to go more to a setup role. Andrew Nardi, I'm actually going to move to the 8th. Lang to the 7th. But I want these guys to be our high leverage guys. And Mick Abel, I'm going to pitch out of the bullpen. We'll see. We'll see how he does. Again, I really think he plays up big time, and maybe next year he'll be a starter. We'll see about that. But this is what we're going to roll with, I think, going into the second half. Sixto, still the injury concerns, but I think we have better depth now. Picking up some different arms, and also grabbing Luis Amaya, who I like. So he'll go to AAA, and could be in the mix here coming down the stretch. But yeah, that'll be this part. I'll come back if we have any more trades. I was looking around for offense. There's not really a ton to speak of. Sandy's on the trade block. He's having an awesome season. Not too surprising, but really good for him. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of these guys on this list are upgrades to anyone that we have on the roster necessarily. Maybe Nick Castellanos is better, but where are we playing him? Andrew Benintendi is certainly not an upgrade over anyone. Sean Bouchard, he's having a really good season, but do I think it's sustainable over a full year? I don't think so. Mark Hanna's a decent bat. TJ Friedel, but are any of these guys really better than the guys we have on this team? I don't really think so. So we'll just have to hope for some internal improvements. We do have Robert back. He's kind of been bad this whole season, but he hasn't played a game yet for us, so we'll see how he fares. The rest of this lineup, we need to have Jazz bounce back. He's been pretty bad, really bad all season. besides the first month when I signed him to that extension, of course. We'll have to hope Duran gets up to like a league average hitter. Patrick Bailey, hopefully he can tick up a little bit, and Trey Sweeney's got to keep hitting too. So, yeah, I mean it's a risky play to run into the second half with this lineup, but I think it's kind of our only choice for what's out there. And this is a long term thing. We're not gonna necessarily win the World Series this year or anything. We're certainly gonna try, but if things do go south offensively, I think we're still set up for the future. Dylan Cease also had a really rough go of it since the All-Star break. I don't necessarily want to trade him away. Doesn't have a lot of value anyway, so he'll probably stick it out in this rotation, even though he hasn't been any good really. But yeah, I think we have enough pitching to make us through, and the lineup we're just gonna have to pray that things improve. So we'll sim a couple days. Let's see if anything pops up. We'll go through this Philly series with the team we just traded with. And Trevor Rogers is back, so that's excellent. He'll go on a rehab assignment. I just wanted to make one start down there. So we lost 3-0. Got one hit. Dylan Cease wasn't horrible. Sixto Sanchez was awesome in relief. Not the way you want to start the Philly series. We'll have Andrew Painter in Game 2. We lose 7-1. Casey Schmidt finally back. Kind of forgot he was on this team. Oh, my God. Johan Rojas just shredded us for 4 hits, 6 RBIs. Mick Abel gave 3 runs against his former team. Yikes. And then looking to avoid the sweep, and we get swept. God, that is just not the way you want to go into the deadline. 8-7 loss. The offense at least came alive a bit. But Yuri Perez gets absolutely roughed up. Looks like only 2 home runs, 7 runs, 6 hits. Probably a couple guys on base, I'd imagine. I don't even know what happened, honestly. Bo Naylor looks like... Yeah, just a couple big hits with the guys on. That sucks. So we'll have Casey Schmidt rehab. No rush to get him back. But I think this is what we got to go into the second half with, or post All-Star break with. I mean, where are we really gonna upgrade? See, I don't feel good about this. Let's sift around a little bit. So bad teams that might have good players. Diamondbacks. I doubt. Yeah, they're not trading Corbin Carroll. Yeah, there's no way. They really don't have any good players. Shoot. Ketel Marte's fine, but again, not really an upgrade of any sort. Pirates could be interesting. Brian Reynolds. A lot of years and a lot of money. Tamar Johnson's too young. Nationals, not much. Mets. Jeez, Lindor's their DH now. That's wild. Okay, then A's we already looked at. Angels. You know, I've traded Mike Trout yet, and I'm probably not trading for him anyway. Nolan Chanel. I'm trying to do a really good player in this. Wow. Amazing. Taylor Ward makes some money. Luis Arise, bring him back. Yeah, there's just not really much out here, so this is what we're going to go into the second half with, unfortunately. So, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.